So let's talk about this because this is such a heavy but like important topic. As Black parents, we're navigating so many layers, and it's honestly overwhelming sometimes. I mean, there's this like expectation of being strong, right? Strong Black mom, strong Black dad. But Jerry, how do we even breathe under that weight?
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I think culturally we've carried this sense of pride, this strength that comes from survival. But what's not often talked about is there's a cost to that, like the emotional labor, the mental strain. That doesn't just disappear once we're parents. And I think about how the stigma around mental health impacts us. Saying, I need help.
Feels like admitting defeat.
Exactly.
Yeah, but it's wild because it's not like just about us. It spills over into how we show up for our kids too, Like, how do we teach vulnerability when the world tells them to be, tough all the time?
That's a good point. For me, it's been about giving Cameron and Brianna space to express themselves, encouraging them to name what they're feeling, even when it's hard or uncomfortable. Like the other day when Cameron said he felt mad and sad.
Oh, yeah, that was that moment, huh?
Yeah. Instead of just saying, get over it or be strong, I tried to help him unpack it. What made him sad? What made him mad? Those moments build resilience, right? They're small, but over time.
And that's like emotional intelligence 101. But like for us adults, it's definitely not automatic. Let me tell you, postpartum, I mean, Jerry, you remember how hard that was for me? It was not cute.
Yeah, I do. And honestly, I don't think husbands, partners are prepared enough for that. I remember feeling helpless at times, but I knew the best thing I could do was listen, be present for you, whether it was encouraging you to rest or just, making sure you felt supported to cry when you needed to.
And that kind of support is honestly life-saving. Like just the mental load of caring for a baby is so isolating. Plus,
combine that with systemic challenges.
Yep, and crazy societal pressures.
Yeah, it makes me think if we can normalize talking about these struggles, especially for fathers and mothers, we can start carving out healthier ways to parent. Like addressing our own mental health leads to healthier kids.
Jerry, that's exactly it. Addressing our mental health for healthier kids. But then you think about it and it's like, okay, how do we actually break those generational cycles? I mean, that sounds so neat and inspiring, but let me tell you, doing the work to change it, it's messy.
Yeah, it's definitely not easy. I mean, for me, growing up, I didn't even realize some of the patterns I was inheriting. It wasn't until I was older, really until becoming a dad, that I started to see it.
What did that look like for you?
Well, so much of it starts with just acknowledging it, right? Recognizing that some of the things like avoiding certain emotions, brushing off sadness, they weren't just habits. They were survival mechanisms passed down. And honestly, it wasn't until I looked inward that I could even begin to shift things.
And that right there, that's the game changer. Because what I see is if we don't do that healing work, it's like we're handing our kids this bag of bricks to carry that they didn't sign up for.
Exactly. And for me, it's been about practicing forgiveness, not just for others, but for myself. There were moments where I catch myself repeating patterns with Cameron or Brianna, and man, those were tough moments of reckoning.
Yeah, like we've definitely had to have some real conversations around that. But I think it's made a difference in how we approach parenting together, especially with creating emotional safety for the kids.
For sure. One thing I've learned is that giving them space to just feel and express is crucial. Like Cameron the other day asked me if it was okay to feel disappointed in something I said. That felt huge to me. Not because he was disappointed, but because he trusted me enough to say it.
That's the win right there. Teaching them to trust, to process their emotions. It's really about modeling it too, right? Like if we're not vulnerable, they won't know they can be.
Exactly. And it's not just about what happens inside our home. That's where community becomes vital. We've leaned on family, friends, even those parenting support groups we found. Those resources have really helped us kind of expand our toolkit, I guess.
Absolutely. And it's not just the big things, like a reminder from a friend that it's okay to take a breather, someone offering to help with the kids so we can recenter ourselves. Those things matter so much.
They really do. I think about those moments where we've been able to just step back and recharge, or even moments where we've had that external encouragement to keep doing the work for us and for the kids. It changes everything.
Thinking about all that, the recharging and the encouragement, it really circles back to one thing for me: self-love. Like, how do we show Cameron and Brianna that foundation when the world's out there already shaping so much of how they see themselves?
I think it starts with being intentional, right? Like consciously pushing back against the messages they get from media, peers, and honestly, sometimes even within our own communities. I mean, colorism and texturism, those are huge forces that impact self-esteem, especially for our daughters.
Oh yeah, Brianna's already had moments. Like, there was this day we were brushing her hair and she asked why it wasn't pretty and straight like her friends. My heart just dropped.
That's tough. What did you say to her?
Well, I told her her curls are beautiful and strong, just like her. Then I kind of spun it into a fun moment, like showing her how versatile her hair is. But man, it's hard because it's not just about one comment.
Right? It's about countering years of conditioning. And that's where modeling self-acceptance comes in. Like when I decided to write Black Fathers Are Real, I wanted Cameron and Brianna to see themselves in a story where they're celebrated, not diminished by stereotypes. I wanted them to know their worth beyond what the world tries to define for them.
And I love that. It's so powerful because it's not just for them, it's for other parents, other kids who might not hear that affirmation elsewhere. And honestly, it's things like representation and acknowledgement that build them up. Whether it's books like yours or just hearing us tell them you are enough.
Exactly. And for any parents listening, one thing I'd recommend is creating daily affirmations. We do this with the kids. Every morning we say, I am strong, I am smart, I am loved. It's simple, but it creates this sense of grounding.
Yes. And making sure it's consistent. Actions, words, your whole vibe, it all has to flow together. Like if you're preaching self-love, but criticizing your own body in front of them, they'll pick up on that real quick.
For sure. And I think creating an affirming environment also means celebrating their achievements, big or small. Like when Cameron finishes a Lego set, it's not just cool, you did it. It's, I love how you stuck with it. That was creative and thoughtful. What we affirm matters.
Oh, totally. And for Brianna, I know it's about celebrating her individuality and kindness, like just letting her feel seen, That recognition plants seeds of confidence and self-worth that will grow over time.
And we can't forget the importance of being open about the challenges too, letting them know it's okay to struggle with self-love some days, but also giving them the tools to navigate those moments.
Right, it's about balance. Affirmation meets truth, meets grace. Honestly, Jerry, this is the work that feels overwhelming sometimes, but also like the most rewarding,
Absolutely. And it's the kind of work where we're not just shaping our kids' futures, but also healing parts of ourselves along the way. That's the beauty of it.
And that's how we keep building brick by brick. Self-love, resilience, understanding is all connected. Well, on that note, I hope this conversation has been helpful to everyone listening today. Jerry and I love having these moments with you all, and we're grateful you're on this parenting journey with us.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us. Remember, the foundation you're building now can carry generations forward. Until next time, take care of yourselves and your little ones.